things last week didn't go nowhere near as smooth as I expected them to. So we got to make sure things go well. And sorry for all the cracking. It's a bunch of acorns from these trees above us. So first things first, we're driving the new tow rig since I no longer have a tow rig. And we just replaced the FA5 SI wheels with the original SE300 wheels. I got tired of driving the car around with mixed match wheels, and I think it looks way better this way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think I like this car too much. It's been fun daily in the car because usually these cars just sit around and I'm kind of like always thinking about which car to drive. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to fix, well, we're not here to fix anything. We're here to pick up parts to fix the other stolen GSR with the green wheels and the rust so that we can drive it this Sunday. And the first thing we have to take care of is the wheels. So you guys saw last video, 15-inch wheels are completely obliterated, the tires are, and these 16s don't look much better. But Cousin Gary did gift us 2 Continental Extreme Contacts. They're his old tires that still had like 2 sessions in them, but Cousin Gary's a real racer, so he bought, I guess, 2 new tires. And then in the rear, we're gonna go with these all seasons. I let brother Curvis borrow the wheels, so he replaced those. And as you can see, they have maybe like 1 session in them, so we could definitely get a second one out of them. The second thing we came here for is this ignition. So last week I made a video on this. I made a clip, but it all went south because I started drilling this. How did we end up back here? So I went to Uncle Rigo's and he mounted the tires on the wheels for me. So they're right there. Big old Wild Boys. They have, these are 205 55s. Look nice, right? And then I passed by my brother's house and picked up my other 2 wheels from my last season. So I have semis in the front and rear, right? And then we bled the brakes, or no, we flushed the brakes. So here we got pretty fresh looking, well, it doesn't look so fresh anymore, but pretty fresh looking brake fluid. So how are we back at the garage? Well, while we were pumping the brakes through that process, we found that if I hold the brake pedal down, it slowly just starts easing away all the way to the bottom. So it seems that we have some sort of leak, but the leak isn't from anywhere, because Uncle Rigo used like a life supply of brake cleaner to clean all the calipers out to make sure they were clean before we tested it to see if there was any leaks. But there wasn't any leaks. The brake fluid didn't drop at all, and there was nothing dripping from any of the calipers. There's no lines underneath the car leaking or anything. So then here we are again, what's causing this? So the only possible solution or the only possible reason that this could be happening is that we have a faulty master cylinder. And long story long, that's why we're here. So we're gonna replace this master cylinder, and then also while we're at Uncle Rigo's, remember how I said this caliper, the passenger side caliper, wouldn't, rotate, or it wouldn't compress all the way, so we thought it was dragging. So when we got to Uncle Rigo's, he lifted up he put the car on the lift, and that wheel was spinning freely, but then this wheel was dragging. Don't know how that happened, but luckily for us, we do have a used driver's side caliper. So while we're at the garage, there's 2 things we came for, and it seems like we just found a 3rd thing to do. So looks like my car's leaking something, right? And then you can look over here. Oh, it's not leaking nothing before that, but only after. Somehow the radiator took a crap on me. The radiator's leaking out, and now I have to replace the radiator on this thing too. So yeah, and I'm just so happy that all these things are happening to me right now that I'm just gonna put you guys on the time lapse and just talk to myself for the next couple hours while I figure this out. So let's get to it.
I don't think I've said it enough. I'm so thankful this white car or red car, whatever color it is, it's a non-rusted car, because it made everything a million times easier. This car was in pretty good condition for 30-year-old car with 300,000 miles. As far as this other car we're about to look at, I mean, these 200,000 miles have treated it very poorly. And don't get confused with the intake manifold or the brake master looking pretty new. That took some heavy degreaser and a lot of pressure washing to get off and make it look like that. But I will say that the brake lines did come off without any problems.
I actually have a timer running, and it's been 25 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. So I think you guys know, and I know, that by watching this one come off, and I literally did the bolts and just pulled it off, and then we come over here, and I have to use a screwdriver and a hammer. A screwdriver and a hammer to pry this thing off. Look at that. Look at that disgusting mess. See that? I think it's clear to say we found the issue. The only problem, I'm just being lazy. I don't want to have to like bleed everything, and Uncle Rico said I should pump the brakes. I should bench bleed the master, even though it hasn't leaked all the fluid, because it could create a problem. So just for the sake of not wanting problems, I'm gonna do this the right way. So let's go inside, put this old master on the vise, and then start pumping it before we put it back on the car.
All right, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I definitely didn't put this on the vise. And even though Uncle Rico said I should do it, we did speak on maybe just plugging the holes and doing this rather quickly just to make sure the master doesn't go empty and introduces air into the system. Onto the calipers. This did go pretty smooth, and all I had to do was bring the new caliper into the garage and compress it on the vise.
Just finished with replacing this caliper, old but new caliper there. And while I did it, I put the car on the best set of jack stands money could buy. And then in the back, I took the wheels off and I have it on the jack. Just because this has to be kind of quick here. And yeah, so I have the compressor out. I did already take out as much of the nasty fluid that was inside the reservoir already. So that's all gone. And then found this stuff in the garage. High temp synthetic. It's been sitting for a couple years, but it still looks pretty clear. So I filled that up with like AutoZone standard DOT3 brake fluid, and then hopefully that's enough to bleed out, that new caliper and whatever else was in this master, and then we'll be fully topped off with this new high temp stuff. So right now I gotta set the compressor up and then go to each wheel.
The bleeding procedure on Integras or any 90s Hondas is you start at the wheel furthest away from the master cylinder, and then you slowly work your way to the master. So starting in the right rear tire, we had to bleed this, and I had this tool that was supposed to bleed it for me, and that didn't work. So if you could look here, you see that I have a 2x4 on the brake pedal to hold it as I go to each wheel and bleed it that way.
All right, guys, we just left the shop maybe 10 minutes ago, and I finished the timer. It says 2 hours and 13 minutes. So I got the brakes done, bled, and replaced the caliper and the master, and we're feeling fine. If I wasn't in traffic right now, I would 100% slam on my brakes. But I was at a red light, a couple of them before I got here, and I had to put my foot on the brake, obviously, and it didn't sink at all. So we're 100% on our brakes, so that's good. The radiator I couldn't replace because it got dark, obviously. That beautiful sunset right there. But it got dark, so I have it back there with me. Today's Thursday, so I still got 2 days, Friday, Saturday, to get that done. Yesterday was Friday. It was my birthday. I didn't do anything. So today is Saturday around 2 p.m. and I got about 3 hours to get this thing 100% ready for tomorrow. And we got quite things to do. I was just going over the last clip from yesterday, and I realized that we didn't, you guys couldn't see the radiator when I put it on. So radiator's here. I'm about to do that right now. And then I have the wheels I got to replace. Cousin Jerry is coming over so I could drop a tune, a bass map on his car that he's driving tomorrow. So Cousin Jerry's going to join us tomorrow. That's going to be pretty fun. And I'll see if I can get to the ignition. But the main priority right now is the brakes do have a little bit of sponginess to them. So I want to bleed the brakes. And then I have to do the radiator. After that, we'll see if we'll see, and we gotta change the wheels. So I'm gonna back this up because I don't want to make a mess in my garage. So I'm gonna back this up a little bit and do it in the driveway, and this should be quick. So let's get to it. The camera died, and cousin Jerry came over, and he's having problems with his ECU, so we got kind of sidetracked on that. But since the camera cut off, I've done some things. So first things first, I bled the coolant, but it looks like my IAC, there's an air bubble stuck in my IAC, or something's going on with my IAC, so it has a woo idle surge, the same thing that the RS had. So I'll worry about that later because it's getting to running temperature and running fine, so I'm not too stressed about that. And then we bled the brakes again, and then I put the wheels on. So I just adjusted the rear coilovers a little bit, but before I move on to the rear, I kind of want to see how the front sit with these, because these are, I mean, we're gonna have to get this out of the way here, but these are big boys. This is what cousin Gary runs. So what do we got? 205 55 16s. So I can already see we're gonna have some sort of rubbing issue. So let's see this in live time. So here we are. This is the last session, the last event that this car will ever be at. I have put this car together within the last 60 days, and I've driven it hard at the last track event. So in this final iteration of this car, we have some big old boys, some 205 55s in the front and some 215 45 in the rear. To be honest, I'm not a fan of the stance. I think the mixed match wheels will look a lot better if we had the same size tires. To be honest, even if I ran like a all season in the back, or maybe like maybe not an ultra high performance tire, but maybe like just a high performance tire. So my biggest thing right now is I weigh as much as a baby elephant, and I want to know if I have to go back home and adjust the suspension, or if when I sit down it'll settle enough where the stance matches the other side, or the height matches, so that when we're driving, the car's not driving like this, it's driving like that. Because when I'm out of the car, it is a little bit higher on this side. The coilovers are higher, about an inch or so on this side of the car. So let's see if it works. You tell me. Does it match? I won't be able to tell until after I go home and edit this video, but once this video ends, I'll be able to tell. So I hope this is good. It did go down a smidge, and I think that's good enough. I think that's enough messing around with this car. I bled the coolant again, I bled the brakes again, and I changed the wheels and adjusted the coilovers. So right now we have I think a pretty well sorted car, and I have to say, within the last two events, I have learned, well, the two events this year and all the events last year with the RS, I have learned a lot about this platform, and I will 100% be moving forward with this platform. And you guys will just have to wait to sometime in the near future to see what I come out with. But for now, I have to end this video because I have to go home, edit it, and post it tomorrow and get ready for the track. So in the meantime, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out our socials, and we'll see you guys next week for another video. Peace.